We are back in the Canon Films territory for some more Canon Films goodness for Christmas. Let's do it. Hey, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing well out there. And today we're back in Canon Films territory, and we're going to talk about 10 Till Midnight, starring Charles Bronson. This film came out March 11th of 1983. It's rated R, had an hour and 41 minutes long for the runtime, had a budget of $4.5 million, and upon release, it grossed only 7.1. So it wasn't a huge hit, but the Canon Group had already pre-sold the rights to foreign distributors before they even wrote a script for this film. And for the world television premiere rights, they sold the rights for $2.5 million, which at the time was unheard of. Which, I don't know, after seeing this film, if you ever watch this film, if you ever check it out, you'll be dumbfounded how they even showed this film on TV, because there's a lot of nudity in this film. And we will talk about that. Now, this film was directed by J. Lee Thompson. At this point, it was Charles Bronson and J. Lee Thompson's fourth collaboration at this point in their careers. They'll go on to do many more because they did 9 in total, so they had 5 more coming down the pipe through the 80s. Now, Charles Bronson plays Leo Kessler. He's a detective for the Los Angeles Police Department. A very good detective, a lot of accommodations. He's very highly regarded in the department. His daughter is played by Lisa Elbacker, and she will look familiar to people who love Beverly Hills Cop. She played the Axel Foley's one ex-classmate in high school that he goes and meets up with in Beverly Hills. She is the daughter in this film. Andrew Stevens plays Paul McCann. He is Leo Kessler's new partner on the force. And Gene Davis plays Warren Stacy. He is our psychotic serial killer, and he is fantastic in this role. The great Jeffrey Lewis plays a lawyer, Dave Dante. He's not in the film a whole lot, but it's always nice to see Jeffrey Lewis pop up. Wilford Brimley plays Captain Malone, and Wilford Brimley is very well known. He's been around, he had a long career. And Kelly Preston makes an early film appearance as one of Laurie's friends and a fellow nursing student. And the same year she did John Carpenter's Christine. So this is basically really at the beginning of her career. And being in this film, we're introduced to Leo Kessler. He's a detective on the Los Angeles Police Department, and he's very high regarded. And we already find out there's a serial killer on the loose, and they don't have any evidence or any clues of who it may be. No suspects. And then we're introduced to Warren Stacy, and he's on his way to the movies. And he comes in contact with these two girls. He comes off as very, very creepy. Not a bad-looking dude, but very creepy. And he's like right up behind him at the ticket window, and he's hitting on the one girl. And actually, when he goes into the theater, he sits right next to the one girl, and he's like just trying to make conversation, offer him popcorn. And this one girl's not having it, and they get up and they move. And he just kind of sits there staring at him. And once the movie starts, he sneaks out of the theater, goes into the bathroom, sneaks out the window and out of the building. And he's a very smart killer. Until later when his urges get the best of him, and we'll talk about that. He sneaks out and he goes to this park where this van's parked. And here we come to find out after this, that's his co-worker, this woman who he wanted to date at one point, and she turned him down, and she's having sex with her boyfriend in the back of this van. Now, this is what's so a little bit of original about this film. He gets completely nude, takes his knife, and kills both these people. Well, he kills the boyfriend, and he chases the woman through the forest, and he kills her. And then he puts his clothes back on, goes back to the movie theater, sits back down in his seat, and the movie's just ending, and he gets up and walks out, and he makes sure those two girls see him, because he talks to them on the way out. And this sets up his alibi later when the cops drag him in for questioning, which he's very smart and very effective in this film. He plays a really great serial killer. I got to give him credit. This film is way better than it gets credit for. I know it has a cult following, but it's actually very effective. I would say it's a combination police, thriller, and a serial killer slasher film. It's pretty much what this film is. So Leo is hot on this, is on this killer's trail, and he's trying to find this killer any way he can. And we find out that he's estranged from his daughter, Lori. And his daughter comes into play because at this woman's funeral, Lori's there because she knew this girl. And she actually ends up talking to Warren Stacy. She's like, don't I know you? And he's like, no, we never met. And she's like, no, I swear I'm thinking. And he's like, no, you never met me. And so he leaves, and he goes off and kills somebody else in the meantime. And as we come to find out, well, Lori and Leo have been estranged. Like, Leo does not have much to do with his daughter, but now that they're back in each other's lives because of this case, they start taking interest in being around each other again. And Leo tries his best throughout the film to try to reconnect with his daughter. And it's very effective, their relationship. I actually like that part of it. And I'm going to fast forward through some things, but as the movie goes on, Warren Stacy sets his sights on Laurie. And right before this, Leo planted evidence because he knows it's Warren Stacy, but they don't have enough physical evidence to hold him or charge him with anything. So he goes down to the lab and takes some blood, a blood sample from one of the victims, and plants it in Warren Stacy's apartment on some of his clothes, and they arrest him. And he knows, he goes, you set me up, because he knows he doesn't have no blood in his clothes. He gets naked every time he kills somebody. So it's impossible for blood to be on his clothes, and he knows that. And he flips out in the interrogation room. But his lawyer, played by Jeffrey Lewis, tells him, I'll get you off with the insanity plea, or one way or another, I'll get you out of this. And Paul McCann confronts Leo about this because he's like, look, I'm an honest cop. I agree this guy needs to be put away, but we can't do it this way dirty. So Leo admits to the district attorney that he set him up. So he ends up getting fired from the police, and he follows Warren Stacy around and basically makes his life a living hell, let him know that he's on his trail. Well, Warren Stacy wants to kill Leo's daughter, so he tricks Leo by getting a hooker, going to this hotel, making Leo think he's upstairs in this hotel having sex with this hooker, which Leo already knows. This killer's problem is he's sexually frustrated, he's never had sex, and he doesn't look at women as actual people. And he likes when women reject him because that gives him a reason to go kill them. And he only kills women, really, except for that one girl's boyfriend. But his targets are always the women, not the guys. That guy just happened to get killed because they were in the van naked having sex, and he killed him first so he can get to the woman without having much problems. So Laurie's back at this dorm room with her other nursing student friends, and Warren gets naked with flowers, shows up. He kills Kelly Preston's character first, and he kills the other roommates, and he has her to himself. Now, Leo knows where he is, and he's headed towards there, and so is Paul McCann. This is where we get a chase sequence that can come off a little cheesy, but it works for me. I don't know. It is a little strange, and it's whole strange that the serial killer is naked every time he kills somebody. So right there, you're taken aback by it. But Laurie escapes and starts running down the street, and he's chasing her, and he's completely naked. And the cops are en route. The cops show up, and he puts up his hands because Leo has his gun on him. He's getting ready to blow his head off. He's like, "You can't shoot me. I'm giving up. I'm a sick man. I need help. I'm gonna need a lot of help. I hear voices in my head," because this is what his lawyer coached him on when he had his trial. So already he's setting up the insanity defense. And Leo knows that he will go to a insane asylum, but he will get out eventually. And he can't let that happen because he knows this guy's going to keep killing. So right at the end, and you hate this guy. This guy he's not a bad looking dude, but he's a psychotic. He's creepy as hell. And he's such a scumbag. And Leo, right at the end of the film, shoots him in the head, and we get our end credits, and that's the end of the film. This is a very effective cop thriller / serial killer. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. It's kind of like a horror movie and a cop thriller rolled into one. There's a lot of kills in the film. There is a lot of blood tossed around. You don't see much of the act of the kill, but you see the aftermath. There's a lot of nudity from females and our killer, because he's naked every time he kills somebody, which there's quite a few kills throughout the film. It's well shot. J. Lee Thompson does a nice job. There is some moments in the beginning of the film where the ADR is quite noticeable, and it comes off really bad. And it can be a little cheesy. With any canon film, you're going to have that little bit of cheese in there, but that's what makes it so goddamn good, though. And that's why we love them. But it's a really well-done thriller, and Charles Bronson's fabulous. The cast here is great. Everybody does really well here, all of our main cast. I would highly recommend this film. Matter of fact, I would give this film an 8.75 out of 10. I like it very, very, very much. I think it's highly underrated. It's definitely worth discovering if you've never seen it. So yes, an 8.75 out of 10 for 10 to Midnight. That title has nothing to do with the film. It's just a cool title, 10 to Midnight. If you ever seen this film, leave a comment down below. Let me know. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, share this video. I greatly appreciate it. I'll be back with Death Wish 5. And then later in the week, I'm going to come up with something else. I'm not sure yet. I hope everyone's doing well out there, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.